Hi, I'm Hunter Davis. Today is November 11th, 2012. It is Veterans Day. I'd like to wish all the veterans today, I hope they're having a wonderful day. I want to thank them for serving our country, and I'm thankful for all the services that they've done for us. Truly thankful for what they've done. Today we'll be going over social studies teaching in the classroom, and I will be discussing parts of what my cooperating teacher has done in a lecture this past week. This past week we are within Virginia U.S. History, 11th grade. We are going over the Civil War unit. The Civil War unit, dealing with SOL 6, talks about the causes of the Civil War, the war itself, the emotions of the time period, and later Reconstruction. Today's lesson is based upon causes of the Civil War, and those causes being westward expansion. The lesson objectives were to go over lesson expansion, present the knowledge to the students, have them review it in several formats, and then be able to construct that knowledge in certain ways. To begin class, upon entry, the students, we asked each student to pull out their notes, study for a daily quiz check, which would go over the notes from the previous class, which was based on causes of the Civil War, slavery, and causes of the Civil War, states' rights. After doing so, we asked them to pull their notes back out and prepare to take notes on the third cause of the Civil War, which was westward expansion. Within this unit, westward expansion, we talked about many of the compromises during the time, including the Missouri Compromise, the Compromise of 1850, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act of 1854. We talked about many of the events during this time period, including Bleeding Kansas, which caused many of the problems that led to the Civil War on the Western Front and the Western frontier area. So these notes were used in a question format. So we would pose a question in their notes, and we'd have to have them fill in a slot answering that question based upon what they read in the notes. These notes had a lot of maps of them for later use. Once we completed the notes, we would go ahead and ask each student to pull off a map activity off of their Blackboard account. Once they've done that, they were asked to use either paint or maybe possibly print it off and literally color in border lines to show off what exactly each compromise, including the Missouri Compromise, Compromise of 1850, and the Kansas-Nebraska Act, what they affected on the map, and 3 separate maps, showing them, asking them to exhibit their knowledge of what we went over during the lecture. Afterwards, we tried to combine everything we had gone over so far in the unit into a Pictionary review game. We split them into groups of 4 and had them play a game of Pictionary where they had to draw out some of the ideas that they had gone over in class quickly in a way that it allowed each student to kind of build up their own thought process of each type of term, ID, definition. So it all depended on what the definition was and depended upon what the person who had our dry erase board actually drew on the board. So it's a creative way to getting them to understand what exactly the topic and the ID term is. After that, we asked each student to work privately on a study guide for the later test that would be turned in about a week's time before the actual Civil War unit test, and that would finish out the class before the ending bell. Other than that, I believe, after observing some of the student notes, seeing their reaction during the game, I believed probably a little over 80% of the students were interactive. They took great notes. They researched their topics well enough to know, they understood the topics well enough to be able to answer questions on the spot. And I'd say the other 20% didn't exactly keep a close eye on it, and these are the students that we as teachers have to track a little more thoroughly. Would I say the class was a success? Absolutely. It seemed that many of the students understood the topic very well, and that they were interacting and they were constructing knowledge. So other than that, that's just an example of one class period's work that we're doing during this time period. I hope you enjoyed what you had to listen to, and I enjoy hearing your comments. You have a great day, and I hope that you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Button.